The paradox we are about to explore is called the reverse arrow of time. Imagine a glass, perfectly balanced and still, suspended in a fragile moment before it slips and shatters into countless shards across the floor. This scene repeats in your mind like a quiet ritual, order dissolving into chaos, becoming broken and scattered, and never the other way around. Yet beneath this familiar loss, a subtle mystery lingers. The laws of physics that govern these events pay no heed to direction, flowing as easily backward as forward. The question rises softly. Why then does time march relentlessly ahead, shaping our world in irreversible steps? This paradox beckons us to peer beyond appearances into the heart of why the universe prefers to unravel rather than rewind. Time seems to carry us forward like a gentle current, pulling one moment into the embrace of the next. Yet imagine for a moment if that current could reverse, if shattered glass might find its pieces rising, rearranging themselves, becoming whole again. Physically, such a reversal is not forbidden by the laws of physics. The equations stand indifferent. And still, in life, order never spontaneously reassembles from chaos. This quiet contradiction invites a slow reflection. If direction is no law, then where does time's arrow find its course? Is the flow of moments a truth ingrained in reality, or merely a rhythm we humans have come to accept? The reverse arrow of time suggests the questions may be deeper, turning inward and outward at once. In a dimly lit study, a woman named Eleanor sits alone, her gaze fixed on a delicately cracked teacup resting on the wooden desk before her. The room around her is layered with shadows and fading candlelight, the weight of unspoken memories hanging like fog. Eleanor feels the passage of time not as a steady river but as a puzzling maze, where shattered fragments of her past lie scattered, unreachable. She senses an invisible force pulling her forward, watching events unfold with a quiet resignation, even as she wishes to rewind just a little, to hold pieces of her life before they fractured. Through her eyes, we glimpse the silent ache of time's relentless, one-way march. Eleanor's story is not one of mere loss, but of profound questioning. She contemplates the paradox that time seems to sever moments, turning experience into a collection of memories retraced but never relived. Each evening, her journal opens to pages filled with half-remembered dreams and lingering impressions, like smoke caught in glass. The paradox unfolds in her heart, between the desire for order and the ever-present chaos of passage. She finds herself caught between worlds, the past she can revisit in thought, and the future forever out of reach. In the flicker of candlelight, Eleanor wonders if time's irreversible path is woven into the fabric of existence, or if something deeper waits beyond what she perceives. As the days pass, Eleanor becomes aware of time's tension tightening around her, how memories only reach backward, shaping what she knows yet never allowing a glimpse ahead. She feels entropy's gentle but unyielding increase, the slow fading of order into disorder mirrored in her own fading certainty. The paradox presses on her. Physics offers no reason why time must flow forward, yet her mind and heart are bound to that direction. She watches the world move in one steady line, a line she cannot turn back, and feels the isolation this creates. The question burrows deeper. Why does her awareness seem trapped in a one-way current when nothing in the universe forbids a reverse? Determined to understand, Eleanor explores ideas whispered in shadows and forgotten tomes, suggestions that elsewhere time's arrow might bend or even point backward. She imagines pockets of the universe flowing contrary to her own lived experience, where shattered pieces might gather themselves anew and moments unravel in reverse. These thoughts awaken both hope and fear, exposing the fragile boundary between what is fixed and what might be fluid. Eleanor feels herself suspended within the paradox, caught between the comforting linearity she knows and the surreal possibility that time's direction is, in truth, an act of perception rather than obedience to cosmic law. One night, as moonlight spills softly through a fogged window, Eleanor allows herself to imagine watching her own life in reverse, days folding back like pages, moments reassembling from scattered fragments to whole memories. The paradox transforms under this thought. Time is not a rail-forcing movement forward, but a stage where direction can shift or dissolve. She realizes that her perception, shaped by memory and experience, draws the arrow she follows. The boundary of past and future softens into a hazy corridor, and with it, the weight of inevitability lightens just a little. Eleanor sinks into this unfolding awareness, feeling that what we call time may be more fluid, more fragile than we allow. In this new light, Eleanor perceives the layers of herself as intertwined voices, the observer, the dreamer, the remembering self, each shaping her sense of time's flow. She no longer sees these parts as conflicting, but as threads in a single tapestry, where direction is born not from external laws, but inner experience. The paradox becomes a quiet companion, a reminder that certainty may reside not in answers, but in the stillness between moments. Eleanor embraces this uncertainty, understanding that sometimes not knowing is the clearest form of knowing. In this shared silence, she accepts time's mystery, feeling less like a prisoner of its arrow and more like a participant in its dance. Eventually, Eleanor lets go of the need to hold tightly to linear time or to resolve the paradox. Instead, she settles into the gentle rhythm of presence, where moments can be fleeting and fixed all at once. The arrow of time remains, but it no longer dictates her experience. It becomes a subtle backdrop for reflection, a quiet pulse beneath awareness. In this space beyond grasping, order and chaos blur softly, and the boundary between past and future whispers their fragile unity. Eleanor discovers a calm acceptance, as if floating between fragments of a dream made whole not by understanding, but by gentle surrender to the unfolding mystery. And so, the reverse arrow of time invites you, as sleep gently finds you, to linger in its quiet question. What if time is not a line forever moving forward, but a stage where direction is born of perception and choice? What if the past and future are not fixed points, but intertwined threads through which we softly pass? As your thoughts dissolve like candlelight shadows, ask yourself, if time could flow both ways, where does yourself truly stand? In stillness, does your essence move with the arrow or reside beyond it, untouched? And if the future is merely the past walking backward, perhaps the real journey lies not ahead or behind, but here, in the fragile now.